guys walk up in there with their bags and set it down, start looking around. And I've seen Chuck walk up, pick, who are you? Why are you here? I don't know you. Pick their bag up and chuck it in the parking lot. Don't come in here.
So I'm back in the gym with another limited edition apparel drop. This is the new Live, Learn, Pass On shirt. I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about our cambered grip American cable attachment. This attachment has 4 grips and it's cambered. So when you flip it, it actually becomes 8 grips. And if you turn it upside down, there's actually 16. This is one of our most used cable attachments out in the gym. Even got that full range of motion. We got a second limited edition drop this month as well. Head over to elitefts.com, pick up the shirt, pick up the cable attachments, and we'll see you next. At what point did you squat a grand? Because you did that as a teenager. Because to me, I'm not even aware that you fucking are there, right? Because that's just how West Side was. I mean, it's just, it is. I mean, it's Louis, it's like whoever's in the night.
Everybody's strong.
Yes.
It's like the NFL. Everybody's fast. It doesn't like, you have to do something to set yourself apart from all the strong and fast people.
Yes. And now I knew the people that were at Demers that were in that night crew because they were there, and the camaraderie was a little bit different when we moved to Industrial Drive, which, you know, we talked a little bit about that beforehand. We'll get into it a little bit more. The culture kind of shifted a little bit, but any of the new people I didn't fucking know because Louis wouldn't talk about any of them because we're coming in, we're training, we're leaving, going to work, doing whatever we're doing. Unless somebody was doing something worth a fuck, Louis wasn't going to talk about it.
Yeah, unless they did something big, he would come in and tell you what that person did to piss you off.
To piss you, exactly.
Like, hey, to me, like when a lot of it was AJ for me.
Yes.
AJ pulled 875 off pin 3, back. I'm like,
oh yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's cool. So I guess now I got to pull pin 3 today and pull 880. Okay, I guess that's what we're doing.
Yeah, I got that shit with Waddle when I was first there. Actually, it was Waddle telling me, "What the fuck, dude? How do you phrase this? Like the first time I was there, I understand you've been brought in to beat me." I'm like, what the fuck is this dude talking about? I just fucking come in to power, you know. I didn't know.
Dudes take it personal, man.
Yeah, I know, and I wasn't a part of this plan, but sure. You know, why not?
It's like Game of Thrones. It's like it's like to unseat you. To be on the board is to unseat somebody.
Yeah. Then I'm like, well, what do you total? I mean, I don't know.
They totaled like 2,100.
Yeah. It was.
But back then that was strong.
No, he was fucking stronger.
He had
than
the board. It was 950, man.
Yeah. But then Louis would do that shit all the time. You know, like Rob did this, and you know they plant those seeds in there. Whereas with you being in there, I do remember Dave squatted 1,000 pounds and thinking to myself, the fuck.
It took me about 3 years being there.
Yeah.
I remember, so I can just kind of quickly go through like me being young. My first meet was a Circleville bench press meet. I benched 440, and that was my first ever powerlifting meet competition. I think I was 13 or 14. I can't remember exactly. I think it was in 2003. And then I did a full power. I missed 470, and that was like a big deal because that was Kenny Patterson's teenage world record. Yeah. So like I was like Kenny Pat. They started like holding me on this pedestal of like, well, if you keep going, you're doing the things that these guys are doing, and they're great lifters. So if you keep your shit straight and, you know, do what we fucking tell you to do and do what you're supposed to do, you'll be there eventually one day. So, you know, I kind of just had this feeling that you're born with greatness, and I knew I was born with it. You know what I mean? You're called to do things in life, and this is just my calling. You know, and so you walk in greatness in your calling. So the second meet that I did, it was a full power meet. I squatted. I was at 220. I think I weighed in like 214 pounds. I think I was like 14 or 15. I was a fairly big kid. You know what I mean? I had big bones. You know, I wasn't a small, you know, kid for no reason, or for no stretch of the imagination. But I squatted 700 my first meet. I benched the 475, and then I pulled 600. That was like, I think it was like a 1770 or something like that total. And then I'd go back to school, play football. And I remember that first year I was real nervous to go back because, dude, if you missed a workout, don't you fucking come back here. Yeah. Do you remember they locked the door on Rogeria?
Yeah.
You know, you were 5 minutes late, door was locked. Shouldn't fucking, whoops. And then it got to the point where they'd leave the door unlocked and let you come in and berate you. And if there was 3 plates on the bar, we don't pull plates off here.
Before that, Mike was thrown out when we were on Demers. He was actually thrown out.
I heard about that.
For 5 minutes late.
Yeah.
You know, then, you know, they made amends and he came back. But then
that Mike Rogeria was one of the biggest human beings I think I've ever seen during that time. 370 something pounds. He looked like a fucking rhinoceros.
Oh, yeah.
Like I call him Rhino Man. He
Yeah.
looked like a damn rhinoceros. Just a super nice dude. Like you're just like, man. He was a specimen though. Mike Rozier was like one of my favorites.
Oh no, he's awesome.
But yeah, so went back to school. Went through another football season, and then, you know, I was coming back. I was like, damn, I hope they let me come back. So I remember I walked up and Gritter was there, and he goes, looked at me, well, what the fuck are you doing here? I was like, well, I had played football. I was just coming back and training. He goes, well, get the fuck in here then. I was like, okay. You're like, okay, yes, sir. Here we go. So then I came back. I guess if they said if I had the balls to come back again, that's kind of how it was there. You just didn't walk up on that place. I saw on many occasions guys walk up in there with their bags and set it down, start looking around. And I've seen Chuck walk up, pick, who are you? Why are you here? I don't know you. Pick their bag up and chuck it in the parking lot. Don't come in here, like type stuff. So yeah, going forward. So I went through a football season. I came back around. They let me train again. And I did another meet. They were generally in the springtime, you know, so I'd come out of football and then springtime would be the time to do powerlifting meets. So the next meet I did, I squatted 800. I think I benched 510 and I pulled 650. So I had a big increase. I'm like, man, I can put 100 pounds in my squat like that. And to me, it just came easy. So that's just how I thought it was. You know what I mean? My reference to big weights, everybody around me, I'm a kid, so 800-pound squats I'm supposed to do that.
Yeah.
You know, 400-pound benches aren't big. There's guys over there doing it for reps raw and a floor press. You know what I mean? So you understand what you are very quickly in the pecking order there. And so yeah, then I think it was around after that. That's when Louis started to be like, okay, I think this kid's, you know, he's got something. Went through the calendar year again, come back around, and I squatted 900 again. So I put another 100 pounds on my squat. I think it was like 900. I benched like 660 something and pulled like 7. I was 18 or 19, and then so that was leading into that 1,000 pound when I was 19. I did another meet where I squatted 960, totaled 2,300 when I was 19, and I missed the 1,005 because I remember all I did was look at numbers and whose name was beside it, you know, and it was Scott Weech. I don't know. I can still tell you to this day. He was the youngest person. My whole thing, I want to be the youngest person to squat 1,000, and he was 20 years old, 3 months. Don't ask me how I knew that. I just counted it back from his birthday. So I knew I could be 20 years old in 1 month and still be the youngest to squat. That's just like weird shit. My mind's weird. So I tried it once and missed it. And that was like the first big squat I ever missed. Because up until that point, I was just banging them out. Boom, 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 boom. And I tried again in the summertime and I had a terrible meet. I only squatted like 930 or something like that. And I couldn't even miss 960. And I'm like, man, what the fuck, you know? And so I remember it was the last meet of the year going into this the fall time. And Bob's like, man, this is it right here. And it was in Newark. It was a guy named Mike Maxwell ran it. Yeah. And it was the Iron House Zanesville meets. And the whole training cycle, we trained with this center from Texas A&M had come. He was training for the draft, you know, getting ready for the draft. And he had trained with me. We called him Texas. Your name's Texas now. I don't give a fuck. Yeah. Everybody got nicknames in there. So like, you know, I give my guys nicknames and shit now, and they're like, "Why?" They don't understand. Some of them don't understand it, but like, and there in like West Side, they gave you a nickname because they didn't give a shit what your name was,
and they weren't going to remember it anyhow
because you weren't going to be there longer than 3 weeks. So they didn't give a shit to introduce themselves. They looked at you as like, okay, well, this guy's here. It's a waste of my time because in 3 weeks you're going to be gone. Type shit.
Well, that was true more than not.
A lot of people, it's just not. It's not for everybody, and it takes a person, and you can't be all there. It takes a kind of a little bit of a stupid person in some senses.
In a way. For you, I mean, coming in at 14, you didn't know any different.
No, because I think that's one other thing that really contributed to me being what I am now is the people. I wasn't around just anybody. You know, dude, I benched with Freddie Bolt. He was the world record bench holder at 198, bench 623. You know, I had Amy Weisberger. She was the best female powerlifter on the planet. You know, I had either guys that were world record holders or they were handling those guys. So like they were eyes on those world record holders. So they had this level of vision and foresight that you know, everybody had that. It's like in the NFL, like, you know, everybody's fast. It's like everybody was a coach.
Yes.
Everybody was a training partner. Everybody knew everything that was required. And if you didn't do those things, you just could not exist there.
Yeah, you weren't
It's
there.
it's like being on the moon with no oxygen. There's no oxygen. There's not, you can't live there. If you're not this way, you will not exist in this environment. And that's the long and the short of it. Yeah.
One of the best ways that you can support the podcast and your training is to join the crew. When you join the crew, you get an extra crew cast podcast every single month. You also get access to our Discord, which has a training Q&A with Team Elite FTS members. You get form checks. You can upload any of your training footage and have your lifts diagnosed, sometimes within minutes, by multiple people. Access to close to 30 different ebooks, training logs, and first sign up access to our weekend training retreats, train your ass off, and other events that we do. Biggest takeaways from that, though, what people enjoy the most and get the most out of is the training Q&A and the form checks, as well as the extra podcast. Hey guys, I'm back in the gym with another limited edition apparel drop. This is the new Live, Learn, Pass On shirt. I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about our cambered grip American cable attachment. This attachment has 4 grips and it's cambered. So when you flip it, it actually becomes 8 grips. And if you turn it upside down, there's actually 16. This is one of our most used cable attachments out in the gym. Even got that full range of motion. We got a second limited edition drop this month as well. Head over to elitefts.com, pick up the shirt, pick up the cable attachments, and we'll see you next time.